महिलाओं ने डिजिटल अवेयरनेस प्रोग्राम को भी लीड किया। हमारे प्राइमरी हेल्थ केयर, मैटरनिटी और चाइल्ड केयर में भी आशा और आंगनवाड़ी वर्कर्स का बहुत बड़ा रोल है। आज ये वर्कर्स टैब्स और ऐप्स के माध्यम से इस पूरे काम को ट्रैक करती है। महिलाओं के लिए हम महिला ई हार्ट कार्यक्रम भी चला रहे हैं। ये विमेन एंटरप्रेन्योरशिप के लिए एक ऑनलाइन मार्केटिंग प्लेटफॉर्म है। यानी आज गांव-गांव में भारत की महिलाएं ऐसी टेक्नोलॉजी पर काम कर रही हैं जो अकल्पनीय है। आने वाले समय में हम इसका दायरा और बढ़ाने वाले हैं। मैं उस भारत की कल्पना कर रहा हूं जहां हर बेटी एक टेक लीडर हो। फ्रेंड्स, भारत ने अपनी G20 प्रेसिडेंसी के दौरान एक गंभीर विषय दुनिया के सामने रखा था। इस विषय को मैं WTSA जैसे ग्लोबल प्लेटफॉर्म के सामने भी रखना चाहता हूं। ये विषय है डिजिटल टेक्नोलॉजी के ग्लोबल फ्रेमवर्क का, ग्लोबल गाइडलाइंस का। अब समय आ गया है कि ग्लोबल इंस्टीट्यूशंस को ग्लोबल गवर्नेंस के लिए इसके महत्व को स्वीकारना होगा। टेक्नोलॉजी के लिए वैश्विक स्तर पर डूज एंड डोंट्स बनाने होंगे। आज जितने भी डिजिटल टूल्स और एप्लीकेशंस हैं वो बंधनों से परे हैं, किसी भी देश की बाउंड्री से परे हैं। इसलिए कोई भी देश अकेले साइबर थ्रेट से अपने नागरिकों की रक्षा नहीं कर सकता। इसके लिए हमें मिलकर काम करना होगा। ग्लोबल संस्थाओं को आगे बढ़कर जिम्मेदारी उठानी होगी। हम जानते हैं, हमारा अनुभव, जैसे हमने एविएशन सेक्टर के लिए एक ग्लोबल रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशन का फ्रेमवर्क बनाया है, वैसे ही फ्रेमवर्क की जरूरत डिजिटल वर्ल्ड को भी है। और इसके लिए WTSA को और अधिक सक्रियता से काम करना होगा। मैं WTSA से जुड़े हर सदस्य को से कहूंगा कि वो इस दिशा में सोचें कि कैसे टेलीकम्युनिकेशन को सभी के लिए सेफ बनाया जाए। इस इंटरकनेक्टेड दुनिया में सिक्योरिटी किसी भी तरह से आफ्टर थॉट नहीं हो सकती। भारत के डेटा प्रोटेक्शन एक्ट और नेशनल साइबर सिक्योरिटी स्ट्रेटेजी एक सेफ डिजिटल इकोसिस्टम बनाने के प्रति हमारे कमिटमेंट को दिखाते हैं। मैं इस असेंबली के सदस्यों से कहूंगा, आप ऐसे स्टैंडर्ड्स बनाएं जो इंक्लूसिव हो, सिक्योर हो और भविष्य के हर चैलेंज के लिए एडेप्टेबल हो। आप एथिकल AI और डेटा प्राइवेसी के ऐसे ग्लोबल स्टैंडर्ड्स बनाएं जो अलग अलग देशों की डाइवर्सिटी का भी सम्मान करें। साथियों, ये बहुत जरूरी है कि आज के इस टेक्नोलॉजिकल रिवॉल्यूशन में हम टेक्नोलॉजी को ह्यूमन सेंट्रिक डायमेंशन देने का निरंतर प्रयास करें। हम पर ये जिम्मेदारी है कि ये रिवॉल्यूशन रिस्पॉन्सिबल और सस्टेनेबल हो। आज हम जो भी स्टैंडर्ड सेट करेंगे उससे हमारे भविष्य की दिशा तय होगी। इसलिए सिक्योरिटी, डिग्निटी और इक्विटी के प्रिंसिपल्स हमारी चर्चा के केंद्र में होने चाहिए। हमारा मकसद होना चाहिए कि कोई देश, कोई रीजन और कोई कम्युनिटी इस डिजिटल युग में पीछे न रह जाए। हमें सुनिश्चित करना होगा हमारा भविष्य टेक्निकली स्ट्रांग भी हो और एथिकली साउंड भी हो। हमारे भविष्य में इनोवेशन भी हो, इंक्लूजन भी हो। साथियों, WTSA की सफलता के लिए मेरी शुभकामनाएं आपके साथ है, मेरा सपोर्ट आपके साथ है। आप सबको मेरी बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं, बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
Thank you, Mr. Prime Minister, sir. We are indebted to you for gracing and inaugurating the WTSA and IMC, and will cherish the time you have spent with us. Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of the inaugural ceremony. Kindly remain in your places until the Honorable Prime Minister has left the hall.
आप देख रहे थे भारत मंडपम से ये सीधा प्रसारण, जहां पर प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी ने वर्ल्ड टेलीकम्युनिकेशन स्टैंडर्ड असेंबली 2024 के साथ साथ इंडिया मोबाइल कांग्रेस का उद्घाटन किया। और प्रधानमंत्री मोदी ने स्पष्ट तौर पर ग्लोबल स्टैंडर्ड बनाने की बात की और बड़ी बात।
Thank you for your incredible connection with the youth and for inspiring us to pursue impossible-looking goals. As we say in Hindi, Modi hai to mumkin hai. For our international audiences, Modi makes everything possible. Friends, the world is in awe of a nation that, crawling at 2G speed only 8 years ago, is now galloping down the 5G highway. I would like to assure Prime Minister that India will have an even better record in 6G. From a nation that ranked a lowly 155th in mobile broadband adoption, we have risen to become the world's largest data market. From a nation where the number of unicorns could be counted on a single hand, fingers of a single hand, we have now emerged as the third largest unicorn hub in the world. UPI has become the world's #1 digital payment system. Today, India stands as the only large country in the world that has one of the lowest mobile data prices, and yet
Communication Standardization Assembly 2024, taking place here in New Delhi, India, for its 150-year history. We also welcome all guests, delegates, and experts who join us for the 8th edition Communication Standardization Assembly 2024, taking place here in New Delhi.
Indian entrepreneurs.
पेमेंट्स अब मोबाइल पर भी आ जाती हैं।
Communication Standardization Assembly 2024, taking place here in New Delhi in its 150-year history. We also welcome all guests, delegates, and experts who join us for the 8th edition of the India Mobile Congress, being held concurrently. May I request the Honorable Minister of Communications and Development of Northeastern Region, Shri Jyotiraditya Scindia, to please welcome all our delegates, participants, and guests.
Honorable Prime Minister, and India's Path Pradarshak, Adarniya Shri Narendra Modi ji, Secretary General of the ITU, Ms. Doreen Bogdan-Martin, esteemed leaders, innovators, and policymakers. It is with a sense of great pride and joy that I warmly welcome all of you to this momentous occasion. where we declare open not one, but two landmark events for our telecom sector. The World Telecom Standardization Assembly, convened by the International Telecommunication Union, and the Indian Mobile Congress. It is our singular honor to have between us the Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji, to grace us with his presence. Last year, in the month of September, owing to the Honorable Prime Minister's dynamic leadership, India took up the baton of the G20 summit for the first time in her history of 75 years. And in the same vein of firsts, we are now honored to host the illustrious WTSA Assembly, which, mind you, is also the first time it's being hosted in all of Asia in Bharat Mata, where we will celebrate the power of technology, particularly telecommunications, and the underlying global frameworks and standards. We have amongst us 3,200 delegates from over 160 countries, the highest ever for any WTSA assembly in its history. We are confident that this will, along with the Indian Mobile Congress in its 8th edition, which is South Asia's largest digital technology gathering, this will serve as a breeding ground for innovation, but also showcase India's impending but inevitable emergence as a global hub for telecommunications across the world. पहले ज़माने में मोबाइल और टेलीकॉम को केवल दूरभाष का साधन समझा जाता था और प्रधानमंत्री जी के दूरदृष्टि नेतृत्व के आधार पर आज ये एक एक व्यक्ति को विश्व के साथ और भारत में एक एक व्यक्ति को दूसरों के दिलों के साथ जोड़ने का साधन बन चुका है। भारत में टेलीकॉम का महत्व केवल टीवी, इंटरनेट और फोन के साथ जोड़ने का नहीं, लेकिन भारत में अगर एक परिवार को मोबाइल मिल जाए, इंटरनेट की सेवा मिल जाए, तो वो बैंकिंग से जुड़ गया है, वेलफेयर स्कीम्स के साथ जुड़ गया है, आवश्यक सूचना के साथ जुड़ गया है और सबसे महत्वपूर्ण संपूर्ण विश्व के साथ जुड़ चुका है। Some of the most remarkable examples of the power of telecom, paving the way for universal empowerment, is the DBT, the Direct Benefit Transfer Scheme, which in a day transfers more than 10 million direct cash transfers on a daily basis into the bank accounts of people. अभी हाल ही में कुछ दिन पूर्व हमारे प्रधानमंत्री जी ने 93 मिलियन किसानों के खातों में प्रधानमंत्री किसान सम्मान निधि के आधार पर 20,000 करोड़ रुपए, मतलब $2.5 बिलियन सीधे उनके खाते में पहुंचाने का कार्य किया है, जो शायद विश्व के किसी देश में नहीं होता, प्रधानमंत्री जी के नेतृत्व के आधार पर भारत में संभव हो पाया है। It's a fundamental change in the approach towards technology development. And India has ushered in this fundamental change due to the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, who has always put people at the heart of progress. His motto, सबका साथ, सबका विकास, सबका विश्वास और सबका प्रयास, combined with his second motto, one earth, one family, and one future. It is the combination of these two mottos that leads India under Prime Minister Narendra Modi's leadership into one of the leading sectors and leading countries on the Committee of Nations. It is this motto of connected the unconnected that informed policy making is part of India's fabric today. When it comes to the area of telecom, we are steadfastly bridging the gap between the digital haves and the have-nots through the BharatNet program, which is the world's largest rural broadband connectivity program at over $10 billion in the last 3 years alone, laying 700,000 kilometers of fiber. Our success has staggering numbers associated with it. Mobile connections in India have risen from 904 million to over 1.16 billion today. Broadband connectivity in India 10 years ago was restricted to only 60 million users. Today, it's a staggering 924 million users. OFC fiber in India was only 11 million route kilometers. Today, it is 41 million route kilometers. And these staggering numbers of growth are accompanied by a digital payment system, 4G stack, the UPI interface, जिन आविष्कारों के आधार पर भारत की और विश्व की डिजिटल इकोनॉमी के पिलर्स बनने जा रहे हैं. The credit for this goes single-minded pursuit of our Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji for building world-class infrastructure. It is our resolve today in India that we shall bring policies up to speed with the changing times and the challenges that confront us. The recent changes to the Telecommunications Act 2023 is a case in point. It has been
that Indian data should remain in India data centers. Therefore, Indian companies ready to set up AI and machine learning data centers should get all necessary incentives, including incentives for power consumption. Indian mobile companies, along with the thriving ecosystem, are in a position to offer solutions to the rest of the world, including developed nations. India needs an accelerated talent generation on a scale that is necessary to make India a global AI leader. Some of the existing jobs will evolve, and many more exciting opportunities for employment and entrepreneurship are going to be created in a rapid way, just like during the adoption of computers and the internet. In conclusion, it is our promise not only that India will lead the charge in mobile innovation, but we will fully embrace the power of AI to create a connected, intelligent future that is truly transformative for every Indian. Thank you. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thank you, Mr. Ambani. May I now invite the Chairman of Bharti Enterprises, Shri Sunil Bharti Mittal, to please address the congregation.
आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री लोकप्रिय मोदी जी, Honorable Minister of Communications, Mr. Scindia, Honorable Minister of State, Dr. Chandrasekhar, other senior government dignitaries, Secretary General ITU, and a long-standing friend of mine for over 20 years, Doreen, and many of my industry colleagues who are here today. And ladies and gentlemen, I have a great pleasure today to be once again standing in front of you during IMC 24. And that it coincides with a very important ITU meet here in India makes it even more special. This event showcases India's development in telecom infrastructure and its digital technologies. In this very hall, not too long ago, the leaders of the world's top 20 countries assembled and witness India's rise on the global standing in both political terms and economic terms. But what the world has sat up and noticed and has been awestruck is the digital revolution in this country. I have been a long traveler on this journey. Since 1983, I've been a part of India's telecom story, but I can tell you that the real story began when Prime Minister Modi ji took charge in 2014. He knew the power of technology. He used it in Gujarat for the benefit of the citizens of Gujarat and the society. He realized that if India has to achieve its place on the top table of the world, technology needs to be put to use. And one of the main pillars of his vision was Digital India. That fired up all the entrepreneurs who are connected with telecom and digital services. That ushered in the 4G revolution in this country within 2 years of his assumption of office. That brought in smartphones in the hands of not just rich urban Indians, but in the poorer Indians in the most rural and hinterlands of India. That, as our minister rightly said, ushered in a revolution of digital broadband connectivity that connected them to wonderful services that both private sector and indeed the government and public sector had to offer. That spawned a number of startups in this country, turning many of them into unicorns and bringing in billions of dollars from the world. That stage was set to be used for Prime Minister's second term in 2019, when he came in and recognized that India is highly dependent on imports of telecom equipment and digital equipment. India at that time was importing nearly $500 billion worth of equipment from all over the world, including from our neighboring country. He asked Indian entrepreneurs and world corporations to come and set up manufacturing bases in India. And I have mentioned this before here, India had lost the manufacturing race in the previous 20, 30 years to China and other parts of the world. That call to action has resulted in today India becoming a major manufacturing hub where the animal spirits of Indian entrepreneurs and the global corporations are unleashed by the support of a massive productivity-linked incentive program, the PLI, as well as ushering in the most complicated, complex process which no other country has really initiated in a manner that India has, of trusted sources and trusted products. Today, every element in this country that is coming goes through the detailed eye of National Security Council on Telecom. Every source, every product, every element of India's network that connects our nation passes through that rigorous test of trusted networks and trusted products. This is seminal development which other countries need to follow very quickly. Before the